this mic. I'd also like to acknowledge that we're meeting on the land of the Gadigal people and to pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. So, the $16.8 billion WestConnex tollway. It is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, infrastructure project in the Southern Hemisphere. And it's being paid for by us through our tolls and taxes. If WestConnex is built, it will destroy endangered species, thousands of old-growth trees and parks, and hundreds of homes and businesses, from Parramatta through to Haberfield, Rozelle, Camperdown, St Peters, and down to Beverly Hills in Sydney's southwest. It will expose tens of thousands of men, women and children to increased pollution from the unfiltered stacks that will be built across the route, as well as the huge feeder roads that will be needed to pump cars into the tunnels. All this, and yet the Baird government's own figures show that WestConnex will actually make traffic worse and not better on many of the roads it's supposed to fix. It is going to have a huge impact on people across New South Wales for generations to come. But if you're out there feeling like you don't know much about WestConnex, or you don't really understand what it's all about, then I can assure you that you are not alone, and it is not your fault. It is part of a deliberate strategy by the Baird government to do everything it can to shut down transparency around this tollway, so that it can try and bulldoze as much of WestConnex through our city as possible before people realise the truth. That WestConnex is a scam. And just like all the other scams you're going to hear about today, from the destruction of local democracy, to the way communities are being laid to waste for coal and gas mining, to the lockout laws and protest laws. It is all part, WestConnex is just one more way for Ben to achieve his ultimate goal, to sell us out to his mates in big business. All of us, but especially people in Western Sydney, where much of my family live, are being sold a lie. That WestConnex is being built to bust congestion. And we know it's a lie, because the world is littered with examples of big roads that have failed time and time again to ease congestion and have only made traffic worse. Think of Los Angeles. If building big freeways that all connected up to each other really was the way to ease congestion, that city would be known as traffic heaven. Instead, LA, as we all know, is infamous for its traffic hell. And in fact, the whole lie that WestConnex can bust congestion is exposed when you look at the design of the road itself. For $16.8 billion, and that's a price tag that means that every kilometre of WestConnex is going to cost us over $500 million. We are getting a tollway that mainly just duplicates failed roads that we've already got, like the M4, the M5 East, Parramatta Road, and the City West Link. And of course, all of those roads were once supposed to be the solution to other congested roads in our city. All they have done is make traffic worse. That is why you are not going to find many cities around the world that have people like Mike Baird and Duncan Gay getting up in front of their people and saying that building these huge urban motorways that destroy the inner city is progress. In fact, what we're seeing in cities around the world, like Paris and New York and San Francisco and Seoul, is that they're not only not building these tollways, they are tearing down their freeways. And here's is that this doesn't just return huge amounts of space that used to be given over the roads back to people instead of cars. By tearing down these roads, they're actually making traffic in their cities better, because when you take away the roads, people find other ways to get around the city. So why is that happening in all of those cities? But here in Sydney, our leaders at state, and indeed at federal level, are still clinging to outdated disasters like WestConnex. Yeah? But the answer to that, we have to go back to what I was saying earlier. It's the reality that Baird is not governing for people like you and me. He's here to line the pockets of big business. And when it comes to WestConnex, those big businesses were invited in from the very beginning to plan this tollway disaster. And to understand why that happened, a little bit of history. Back in 2012 and 2013, when WestConnex was first put on the table by Nick Reiner, the toll road industry was in crisis. Tollways, such as the Cross City and the Lane Cove Tunnel, had gone either spectacularly bust or they were well on their way there. Companies like Leighton and AECOM, who were heavily involved in those tollways, are now being sued for providing misleading and inflated traffic forecasts on those roads. Companies like Macquarie Bank were also involved in failed tollways. Yet in 2013, when the New South Wales government started planning WestConnex, it invited those three companies, among others, to sit down at the table with them and help them plan and justify WestConnex. And of course, all of those companies had a massive vested interest in the project going ahead, because if WestConnex is built, they knew they would be getting a whole lot of juicy contracts coming their way. So I'm sure it won't surprise any of you to learn that those companies went back to the New South Wales government and said WestConnex was a great idea. And of course, we'll now see a situation where Leighton's has been awarded billion-dollar contracts to build WestConnex, even as it stands accused of major corruption overseas. AECOM has landed million-dollar contracts on all over the WestConnex, including, unbelievably, the kind of traffic modelling that's now being sued for elsewhere. Macquarie Bank holds a financing contract until 2070. And these are just a few of the hundreds of contracts that have been awarded on WestConnex, most of which were awarded before any planning approvals were granted on this project. Sorry, just let me find this one. And here's the real kicker, is that if WestConnex is built, we don't get a public asset that we get to keep. If WestConnex is built, it will get sold to a company like Transurban. That is why the tolls on WestConnex are so high, up to $11 each way, rising at twice the rate of inflation every single year. And any company that buys WestConnex will have the right to charge us those tolls until at least 2060. Because it's all part of Baird's plan to sweeten the deal for those companies. This is why WestConnex is now seeing an unprecedented flow of public funds into private hands. And it's all being done in the most secretive way possible. Because even now, the Baird government refuses to release the full business case to us, the public, even as we're paying for it. It's even gone to the length of privatising the government authority that's responsible for building WestConnex, so that it's immune from freedom of information requests and completely unaccountable to the public. But while the Baird government is doing everything it can to shut down transparency around this project, communities across across Sydney are fighting back. And we are breaking through. We have seen people across the state flood the New South Wales Planning Department with a record-breaking number of objections opposing the WestConnex project. We are seeing acts of civil disobedience erupting across the tollway route. We are seeing thousands and thousands of people filling public meeting halls, signing petitions, and flooding mainstream and social media to spread the word that WestConnex is a scam. And we all deserve better. And just a couple of weeks ago, we saw the Federal Auditor General announce that he will conduct an investigation into the Abbott-Turnbull government's decision to award $3.5 billion of federal taxpayer money into the WestConnex project. And what this gives us now is a massive opportunity, because with the federal election looming and over $2 billion of that funding still yet to be paid, I am asking all of you to please contact your federal MPs and your candidates to ask them to halt this funding and to tell them that you will not vote for them unless they will promise to do that. Because if you want to get Mike Baird, that is a great way to do it. There is still time to stop WestConnex. Don't let anyone tell you it's a done deal. But we have to act now. Because if we don't stop WestConnex, we're not just going to end up with a white elephant in a tollway. If the Baird government gets away with doing this, it will become the way everything is done in New South Wales. With no transparency, no accountability, no consultation, and no benefit for anyone except the big companies that are pocketing billions of dollars of our money. So don't wait for the WestConnex tunnel or tolls to come to you. Join us and help us keep taking action every single day to stop this destructive tollway. Because together we can stop WestConnex. Thank you.